Hello all, welcome to TechTrapture. So myself Vishal, and in this video we are going to discuss about identity and access management, that is IAM in Google Cloud. So IAM is a very common service when you are working with any of the cloud. So if you work with AWS, if you work with Azure or Google Cloud, so identity and access management is a very important service. So I would suggest, without learning IAM, do not proceed learning any other services in your cloud. Okay, so that's why I'm covering this service at the beginning of our playlist. So in our last video we already seen how to create organization, folders and project in Google Cloud. So in this video we'll see end-to-end demo of identity and access management, what is IAM, what is identity and access management, and we'll just play around with identity and access management. Okay, so let's first see what we are going to discuss in this video. Okay, so first we'll see what is IAM in Google Cloud, what is this service all about. Then we'll see what is a principle. So when we are talking about identity and access management, so it has two parts. First is identity and second is access management. So we'll see what is the principle or identity in a Google Cloud. Then we'll see what is a role in Google Cloud. This is a bit different from the AWS role, so we'll see different types of roles in Google Cloud. We'll play with roles and permission. We'll try to set up few things without role, and then we'll see what error we get, and then we'll give required role and try to create our resources. So we'll just play around roles and permission. We'll see how we can do a troubleshooting in IAM, how we can resolve the permission denied error. This is a most common error whenever you are working with cloud. So errors related to the permissions and error related to the firewalls are the most common errors. So you should have end-to-end understanding on how to resolve this permissions error, how to give the correct role, how to debug that errors, how to check the logs. All these things we are going to see in this video. Also we'll see IAM policies. So in that we'll see IAM default IAM policy, which are allow policy, and also we'll see what is a deny policy in IAM. We'll also see privileged access manager. So this is a newly introduced service in Google Cloud. So we'll see what is PAM or privileged access management. Also we'll see a principal access boundary policy. This is again a new thing introduced by Google Cloud for the security improvement, and we'll see all these things in this video. Okay, so just stay tuned. This video might get a bit longer, but just stay tuned till the end and you will have complete understanding of identity and access management in a Google Cloud. Okay, so let's get started now. So first we'll see what is identity and access management or IAM in Google Cloud. So IAM in Google Cloud is a single place or single service where we can manage user roles, permissions and service account. Okay, so don't need to complicate what is IAM. It's just a single service in Google Cloud where you can add access to the users, you can remove access to the users, you can add required permissions, you can create roles. Everything related to access management you can do in IAM service. Okay, I'll show you in the console. We are just looking at the concept first, and then we'll jump into the demo part here. Okay, so Google Cloud let you manage identity, that is who has access to your resources. It means what access they are having. So I'll just give an example of WhatsApp. So when you are using the WhatsApp and someone creates the group and you are part of the group, there are two roles. One is admin and one is a user. So admin is a role, and permission, what permission admin is having? So admin is having permission to add another user, but user is not having permission to add another user. So that's how the IAM also work. So in IAM you will decide person who can perform what action based on the roles. Roles is nothing but a set of permissions. Okay, now what can be the identity in a Google Cloud IAM? So if you are working on Azure or AWS, you simply create a user, you create credential for them, you give them access, and then that user can log in with that credential and start working with the cloud. But in Google Cloud it's a bit different. You cannot create users directly. You can add existing identities into a Google IAM and give them access. But what kind of users or what kind of identities we can use in a Google Cloud? Let's see that. So first, principal, it means identity to whom you are giving access. Okay, that is a principal. So now this principal can be your Google account, so it can be your Gmail account. Okay, so if I am having a Gmail account vishal.bulhole@gmail.com, if you are having any Gmail account, we can give that Gmail account access to your Google Cloud. You cannot create users directly in Google Cloud IAM. Okay, that is the first thing. Second thing, service account, that is a application account. Now service account, you can create service account in a Google Cloud and that can be used by your application. Okay, so you can create service account and you can use that as identity. So if you are using a compute engine and compute engine wants to download something from the storage bucket, then it use service account permission which is attached to that compute engine. Now one big confusion people are having whenever they are already worked in AWS and wants to jump into Google Cloud. So the Google Cloud role is different, in AWS role is bit different. So in Google Cloud, service account is similar to a role in AWS. So role is attached to application or services in AWS. Here service account is attached to application. Okay, and Google group, so it is a collection of your Google account or service account. I can create one group of developers, add all developers account into that and give a developer access or particular role to complete group, so it will apply to complete a group. So these groups can be also added as identity. Then a workspace account. Workspace we already discussed in last account. So suppose I am having my organization TechTrapture.com. I have my organization account and I have my workspace email ID, that is vishal.bulbul@techtrapture.com, which I am using. So domain user email ID I have to give access, then that I can do using a Google Cloud identity and access management. Similarly for identity domain, so if you are having domain users like xyz.example.com, or for me it is like techtrapture.com, so you can add that users into identity and access management. Last is all authenticated users. Now suppose if you want to give access to all users who can access a Gmail or who can have a Google account, then you can simply use all authenticated users. It means suppose you are creating storage bucket and just uploading one file and you want to give access to that file to everyone who is having a Google account across the world. You can simply put all authenticated users there and it will have access to that complete file. Okay, also one more and dangerous thing here is all users. If you are giving access the all users using this word all users, it will give access to everyone to that file. Okay, so we'll discuss on these two here, but always remember, so these two are dangerous one. Do not use until and unless it's required and will not have any impact on your Google Cloud environment. So I'll discuss on both the things in detail. What is this all authenticated users and all users? Now this was all about principal or identity. Now let's talk about a role. So what is role? Role is nothing but collection of permissions. So instead of giving, so suppose I have to give someone permissions related to the storage bucket. So instead of giving just create permission or delete permission, what I will do, I will just give the role as a storage admin. So it will have all the permissions related to storage bucket. So it will have create permission, it will have delete permission, it will have update permissions, all the permission it will having. So role is nothing but collection of permission. And in Google Cloud there are three types of role. First is basic roles. So whenever you create a Google Cloud project, these three roles are available there and you can give either a owner role, it means all the permissions in your Google Cloud project, or a editor role or a viewer role. So viewer is a read only role, so you can view all the resources but you cannot create any resource here. Okay, so this is basic roles include thousands of permissions in Google Cloud and all may not be used, so it's not best practice to use this basic role. Instead you can use predefined role or you can use a custom role. So predefined roles are related to a specific services. So suppose I want to give someone access only to a storage bucket, so I can give a storage bucket admin role or whatever the specific role related to the storage bucket, I can give that. And custom roles, so you can create your own role. So suppose I have organization and I have developer team, so what I can do, I can create developer role and I will just assign required permissions. If my developers are working only on the compute engine, I'll just add required permission related to the compute engine. I'll add required permission related to only cloud SQL or storage bucket. Again in that also, if I don't want to give someone a delete permission, I will not add that permission. I only add a required permission only, and that is the best practice followed in the organization. So here I just added this green because these are the best practices followed, and amber because this is not recommended because this is having a lot of permissions. Now this was about all theoretical part. Now what I will do, I'll just go to my cloud console and we'll just play around with identity and access management. We'll see whatever we have seen in this slide. We'll just go and see a demo there. So let's go to the cloud console now. In my Google Cloud Console now, and I am seeing my organization hierarchy. So I have this organization. Inside that I have multiple folders, and within the folders I have multiple projects as well. Now where we can access the identity and access management. Okay, so one important thing here, so you can provide access at the organization level, you can provide access at the folder level, and also you can provide access at the project level. So if you are providing access here at the organization level, so just say example, I am a owner at the organization. So let me show you that. So this is my workspace users TechTrapture.com, and this is a super admin. Okay, and here you can see I am owner at the organization level. So whenever I am owner at the organization level, so I'll be owner for each folder and each project within this folder. So if I show you, so if I go to any of the project, so you will see I am owner there as well. So I am owner here as well, and this ownership is inherited from the organization. You can see TechTrapture.com is an organization. So whenever you are giving access, just be cautious where you are providing the access. So when you are adding some users into IAM, make sure you are adding into the required hierarchy. If you are making him owner, do not make it TechTrapture.com, or do not make it at organization level or folder level. So you can make it whenever required. You can give access to specific folders or project, but just make sure you are giving the access in the right hierarchy. Okay, so now let's say example, I have one more users. Okay, so this is my one more users. So let me see if this is having, so this is having access to projects here, few of the projects here. Let me reload and let's see which projects he is having access to. Okay, oh, okay, so this is having access to some free tile project, and this is my Gmail ID. You can see this is my Gmail ID. Now what I have to do, I have to give access to one of the project. So this, I have to give access for this project to my users. Okay, so now currently you do not see this project TTDev02 in this list. So what I will do, I'll just add my users into this project, and let's see that user will have access. Or what I can do, I can just simply copy the links, or just for seeing the error, what errors you will get if you do not have access, I'll just paste that link here. Okay, and I'll try to access this project. So you will definitely have some kind of error here. Okay, now you can see you need additional access to the project. So this is the error you will get when you do not have access to the project and you try to access that project. Now this is a email ID, and I will give access to this email ID. So I'll just add this email ID. Okay, and for now I'll just give access viewer role. Okay, so I will not give additional access, I'll just give the viewer access. Now if I reload this page, my error should gone now. Okay, let's wait for a few seconds. And my error is gone now. Okay, so what I can do, I'll just go to storage bucket, and let's try to create some bucket because I have only view access. Let's see if I can create a bucket here. Okay, so let me go to the bucket, and here let's see if I can create a bucket. Let's reload again. Okay, now you can see this is not allowing us to create a bucket, and it is saying you need additional permission for this action. So required permission storage bucket dot create. So we need access to create a bucket. So what we can do, we can add a required role to this user. So we can find this role simply by googling these permissions. Okay, so best way, just google the permission. Okay, create bucket, and you will see what role required. So you can see the storage admin. or you can go to cloud IAM role for cloud storage, and there also you can find just control F for the permissions, and you can see you can give editor roles, you can give owner roles, or you can give storage legacy bucket roles. There are multiple roles you can give. For now I'll just give a storage admin. Okay, so I'll go and I'll just give a storage admin role to these users. I'll add another role and I'll just give storage admin. Okay, and it will give full control of the buckets and objects. Save it, and once I reload, this error should gone now. So let's reload this page now. Okay, now you can see we can see this create bucket. So let's try to create bucket now. I'll just give the name test. Okay, some random name. Continue. The bucket name is taken. I'll just add something else. So bucket name should be globally unique, and I'll just create a bucket. Okay, so bucket is created now. So if I go to bucket, so this bucket is created now because you have provided the storage admin permissions. So now if I go here, okay, and I want to see the same hierarchy similar to what I am seeing here, what role I need. So what I can do, I'll just give the organization viewer role. So currently it is not seeing the organization. Okay, so I'll just go here and I'll go to organization level. Not these users. Okay, so I have to give at the organization level, and what I will give, I'll give the role organization viewer. Okay, yeah, organization viewer. Let's save it and let's reload this now. It should show TechTrapture as well. Okay, let's reload one more time. It takes few seconds till minute to reflect the permission. Okay, now you can see it is able to see TechTrapture.com as an organization, and it is seeing only one project because it is having access to only one project. It is not able to see this hierarchy which I am able to see because I am having super admin and I am having organization administrator permissions. I am having folder admin permission, so these permissions are required for here. Okay, but now you understood how we can manage permissions at the organization level and the project level. Now let's talk about a role in detail. So in previous slides we seen there are three types of role: basic role, predefined role, and custom role. So let's talk about these three types of role now. So I'll just minimize this screen and I'll go to roles here. So here you will see all the roles available in this project. So you can see the services name here. These are the predefined role. This one is a custom roles, and some roles are used at the project level. So if I do used in project, so these are your basic roles. So if I go for these roles, I'll just open all the permissions for each of these basic roles, and you will see what amount of permission these roles are having. So if I go for viewer role, so this viewer role is having 4600 permissions. So these permissions are related to all the resources. Okay, so editor is having 9133 permissions, and owner is having 10,000 permissions. So it's not recommended to use this basic role because it will give a very high amount of permissions to the users. Instead we should use predefined role. Now in our previous case here, our users wanted to create a storage bucket and we added storage admin role. Okay, so let's go back here and check for the storage admin role. So we'll check what permission the storage admin role is having. Okay, so here is storage admin, and the storage admin role is having 17 permissions related to the storage bucket. Now we wanted to just create a storage bucket, but we provided storage admin role. It means full access on the storage bucket. What is the best practice? We should use the custom role. Just assume we have to think about if user need access only to create bucket, or it should have access to delete bucket as well. If users need access only to create bucket, then we should give access only to create bucket there. Now if I go and try to delete this bucket, I'll able to delete this bucket because I am having access to delete this bucket. Okay, so if I go delete, and I'll just simply type delete. Okay, so the bucket will be deleted, so I don't want my users to have a delete access to bucket as well. Now how we can control this? Okay, so to control that, we can create a custom role. So here you can see the storage bucket delete access is also there, storage bucket create is also here. So what we can do, we can just select read only role or create role, and we'll avoid a delete role. How we can do that? So for that we have to create custom role. So I'll just create a role here. Okay, and here I'll just create one custom role, and I will just give the name as a bucket creator role. Okay, or whatever the name you, so I'll just name as a bucket create a role. Okay, and I'll just give the same. Here you can select GA, add permissions, and you can find permissions either use typing storage dot bucket. Okay, type, and now it gave all permissions related to the storage bucket. So what I will do, I'll just select required permissions, storage bucket create, then storage bucket get list. Okay, then bucket operation get list cancel. So all I will select, only delete I will not select. Okay, create, I'll go here also I'll just do get get. So whatever the required permission I'll just select there. Okay, but I will not select the delete one. So here also I'll just do this, and I'll simply add this permission. Now here you can see earlier there were 70 permissions, now it is having only 22 permissions. And let me create this role now. Okay, so bucket create is here. Let's open that. Okay, and now I have to give this role to my user. So I'll just simply copy this role name. Okay, I'll go to IAM, I'll grant access. So my user is already here. Okay, so my user is already here. So now I'll just delete the storage admin because I don't want delete role, and here I'll just go with the custom. So in custom you can see bucket create role, and save. Okay, so now my user is having bucket create role. I'll just go to this users, I'll just reload once, and you can see it is having create permissions. Okay, let's create the bucket. So I'll just name it again something like this, continue. I'll create it, and I'll also try to delete that bucket, and let's see if we can delete that bucket with this custom role. So earlier we had access to delete bucket as well. Now let me select this bucket and try to delete this bucket. So I'll type delete, and let's try to delete this bucket now. Okay, now you can see bucket could not be deleted. View details, let's see, access denied to bucket. This operation failed because we do not have access to delete this bucket. Failed to delete one bucket. So you can manage these roles and permission using custom role. That is the best practice followed in the organization. So if you are the someone who are designing the roles and permissions for your organization, just always follow the least privileged access. It means only give required access, do not give less, do not give more. Okay, so just follow the least privileged access, and that is one of the security best practice for any of the cloud. So here also you will go for the custom role. Now you can go to roles again. Okay, and you can see your custom roles here, so you can just add required permissions and you can keep adding your custom roles and users into that. Now that's all about identity and access management. So let's go back to our slide and we'll see whatever we have covered. Okay, so we already seen what is IAM in Google Cloud. We seen what is principal, what are the different kinds of users we can add as an identity and in principal and can provide access. We have already seen the roles and type of roles. We just played around with the roles and permissions. We did the troubleshooting. Now we are pending with last three action items, so that is IAM deny policy, privileged access manager and principal access boundaries. So this video is getting longer than expected, so what I will do, I'll just cover these remaining points in the later part of the video. So I'll create separate videos for IAM deny policy, access managers and principal access boundaries. Okay, so just stay tuned for the next video as well if you want to learn more about this IAM basics. So that's it for this video, and thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you again in the next video.